many users are flocking to different social media apps as they look to grow their followings elsewhere. One that's drawing the attention of self-described TikTok refugees is RedNote. The Chinese-owned app shot up to the most popular free app in Apple's App Store this week. It still is today, I just checked. And close behind it is this, the second most popular free app, Lemon8, a Pinterest-style app also owned by TikTok's parent company, ByteDance.
Chinese app Xiaohongshu, or RedNote in the West, saw a spike of new users from the US, just days before a proposed ban on social media TikTok. In fact, it topped free download rankings on Apple's US App Store this week. A live chat called TikTok Refugees had more than 50,000 American and Chinese users joining the room on Monday.
And it's not necessarily the Instagrams and the YouTubes that you would expect. There are a lot of new apps that are cropping up, including Lemon8, which is a ByteDance app like TikTok is, RedNote, which is actually a Chinese-owned app as well, and then Flip, Clapper, Fanbase, a number of these other apps that are also short-form video. Creators can make money. So it'll be really interesting if we do see this ban go into effect, whether any of these ends up being sort of the winner over the mainstream apps that we know of.
Yeah. Instagram is banned in China. Facebook is banned in China. Snapchat is banned in China. Pinterest is banned in China. No U.S. social media apps are allowed in China, and yet we allow Chinese social media apps to cash in here if the kids aren't using Instagram, aren't using TikTok.
Everybody keeps bringing up this alternative called RedNote. What is RedNote?
So RedNote is another Chinese app, so that could call into question what happens with that one. But there's 300 million monthly active users on this app right now already in Asian countries, and a lot of people that are calling themselves TikTok refugees are going over to this app. It's currently #1 in the App Store, so a lot of people are sort of defecting, thinking this is going to be the next thing. It's more of it was more of a Pinterest-like sort of e-commerce, a lot of shopping content on there. It's going to be different now because I've already seen a lot of TikTokers I follow on that app, so it's probably going to get flooded with a lot more of that type of content.
Like a waste of time stuff.
Well, you know.
Get ready with me.
Exactly. But I gave all these alternatives a vibe score.
Okay.
And this one is like a 7.5. I actually like the vibes on here. Yeah, out of 10. I actually like the vibes on there. The people are really friendly. You kind of get that cultural exchange going on. A lot of people offering to teach people Mandarin and different things like that. So
when I was scrolling on TikTok yesterday, a lot of people were saying they're on it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, RedNote, this is where we're going.
It's going to be a little tough to navigate for now, though, because a lot of the instructions and things on the app are still in Mandarin. Like I was pressing buttons and trying to do things, and it was like, I don't know what that says.
They've started downloading
RedNote,
which is also Chinese, and Lemon8, which is also Chinese.
Explain that to us. Also owned by ByteDance. So they're both Chinese Chinese apps, and we've seen surges in download growth of those two apps starting at the end of last year. And particularly in the last week, we've seen a big bump in RedNote's downloads, over 100%, ending through Sunday from the prior week. So there's definitely surges of users downloading these alternative apps. We're definitely seeing that surge, but that doesn't really make sense if the app it's banned because it's Chinese, because these are also Chinese owned. So I'm not sure how that would work in the long run, or if people would just move over and eventually those would also get banned if they do.
Is there a red flag with Americans flocking to RedNote?
Americans are really doing this kind of as an act of protest in addition to finding, a TikTok alternative. But it is, important to note that RedNote is still collecting your location data and your browsing habits and your IP addresses. So, it's good to keep that in mind, but it's also good to keep in mind that pretty much every social media platform does that. The other thing people are flagging is that there's probably more censorship on RedNote than there would be on an American-based platform.
Two sources told Reuters the sudden influx has taken RedNote by surprise. A person close to the company told Reuters more than 700,000 new users joined in just 2 days. Xiaohongshu is something like a Chinese answer to Instagram, geared more toward domestic Chinese users with little content in English. The sources say the company is now scrambling to find ways to moderate English language content and build English-Chinese translation tools.
RedNote was the most downloaded free app in the U.S. Apple Store yesterday. But RedNote's nothing new here, folks. It's actually been around since 2013. It's a video sharing platform with more than 300 million users, most of them in China, where TikTok is not available. And RedNote wasn't designed for English speakers. The company behind the app is headquartered in Shanghai.
Those folks are already seeking out alternatives, and we're seeing some of those alternatives surge in popularity this week. The biggest one is a platform called RedNote, which is actually a Chinese app. It looks a lot like TikTok. And what's really interesting is we're seeing a lot of American TikTok users flocking to this app and Chinese users welcoming them, offering Mandarin lessons, offering them information about how to use the platform.
What about other apps owned by ByteDance, such as Lemonade and CapCut? What will happen to them come the ban Sunday?
I've seen a lot of people flock to Lemonade in particular, but it is good to keep in mind that because it is ByteDance owned, it's possible that that could also be banned. I mean, this ban is not just targeted towards TikTok, but kind of ByteDance in general. So it's possible that down the road that could disappear too.
Why aren't we seeing users show the same enthusiasm for US apps like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and Snapchat?
If one thing is clear, it's that people on TikTok really do not want to go to Instagram Reels. I mean, the sense of community is very different. It's a bit more of a hostile environment. You might notice in the comments, if you compare Instagram comments to TikTok comments, people have really found their communities on TikTok. And so this is also a way to say, hey, we don't care if China gets all of our information. We'd rather have a platform that we enjoy. So it really has become this act of resistance in terms of joining RedNote.
Who TikTok users, where else could they potentially go? TikTok users who also use, look, they're going to get their fix somewhere else, because take a look at this. 74% of TikTok users also use Instagram. You know, you can go on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account, Forecaster Enter, in case you're wondering. Or you can go over to YouTube. Think YouTube Shorts. 95% of TikTok users also use YouTube. So look, they'll get their fix somewhere else, but it will still be a massive disruption in their lives, especially younger folks.
If it is banned, what we expect to see, and I think I spoke about this with Paul earlier, is an ongoing shift to meta platforms, specifically Instagram, because of Reels, and to YouTube's because of Shorts. So if you think about when we look at how much time people are spending on an app, 42% of people's time on Instagram is on Reels. 28% is on Reels for Facebook, and 27% is on Shorts for YouTube. So short form video is obviously a key driver of engagement, which is all that TikTok is. So we expect that should it be banned, we would expect more users to go there. But there's more at stake than just users and hours engaged. It's also in-app revenue. About 22% of ByteDance or TikTok's in-app revenue comes from the US, so that's a huge chunk. And when we look at the digital advertising space, we see about 9% of ad spend is on TikTok. So these are all dollars and hours engaged that would be up for grabs.
Whatever app that we go to next, it just needs to pretty much copy and paste the same algorithm.
Another app that's really gained popularity is Lemonade, which is owned by TikTok parent company ByteDance. The company started pushing it in the US when talks of a ban really started bubbling up. And that's another platform that's really gaining. Those two platforms could still face the same sort of ban that TikTok is facing under this law.
Well, Lemonade is actually owned by ByteDance. So they may be subject to the TikTok ban. You can see a lifestyle community powered by TikTok. So it's a very similar interface, but it's the same company. So
why wouldn't they get banned, and why wouldn't RedNote get banned too?
Exactly. So it remains to be seen if these fall under that ban as well.
What's the vibe on it, though? The vibe score?
The vibe is about a 7 out of 10. It's okay, yeah.
Okay. This is my favorite sounding one. Clapper.
Clapper is, So you get radio, video, or you can go live. The interface feels the most like TikTok to me, but the content is not safe for work. It really is, because they, the platform was designed for quote unquote more mature adults. That's what the founder said, and they claim to have a platform of neutrality. That's in their community guidelines, and that to me is always a red flag that there won't be a ton of content moderation happening there. There's actually a not safe for work setting that you have to turn off if you don't want to see that type of content. It's on by default. That the content on that app, I was scrolling like, ooh, and not even just like overtly sexual, but like violent, and I don't know. The vibe was like a 3 out of 10.
Oh my God!
I gave it a 3 out of 10 for vibes.
What about Triller? Even though that's been
Triller's been around for a while. Launched in 2015. I think they're jumping on the bandwagon, trying to siphon off some of those TikTok users. They have the part of their app will where they can actually save your TikToks, download your TikToks, and upload them to their platform automatically.
Oh, that's cool.
One thing about Triller, your location is on by default. So if you're using that, you want to turn that off. Vibes are a 5 out of 10. The content's not, I don't know, I didn't really care for the content. It just wasn't that engaging. Neptune has not officially launched yet. It's in beta right now. You have to sign up for their Discord to get on the wait list, but they're claiming to be the next era of social media with a customizable algorithm, ghost metrics, so no follower counts. You know, they want to focus on quality content, community building, and things like that, and monetization.
Age 13 to 17, basically teenagers. I don't know if you have any teenage members of your family, Kate Baldwin, but if you ever look at their phone, they seem to be addicted to it, and they're scrolling through. What are they scrolling through? They're scrolling through TikTok. I mean, my goodness gracious, 2/3 of teenagers use TikTok. It is more popular than Instagram, more popular than Snapchat. Facebook's for old fuddy-duddies like myself. Just 32% of teenagers use Facebook, and Twitter, X, which is my favorite platform to be all honest, just 17%. And it's not just that they love TikTok. Teenagers are addicted to TikTok. TikTok's got a hold of them. 50% of teenagers use TikTok several times a day. So if TikTok went adios amigos, this would have a major impact on the daily lives of teenagers, at least in your life.
And what happens January 19th if this ban moves forward? I know some on TikTok are advising folks to just download all their data.
Yes, so it's good to save any videos and data that you want to have stored, but it is also good to know that TikTok won't magically disappear from your phone come January 19th if the ban goes through. Eventually, it would stop getting updates. It'll become buggy and unusable. But if that January 19th deadline passes and you don't already have TikTok on your phone, then you have missed the boat.
But nothing is going to be different on January 20th. You know, if the ban goes into effect on the 19th, the 20th, you'll wake up, it'll seem the same. But eventually, anybody who doesn't already have it on their phone won't be able to download it onto their phone, number one. And then you won't be able to continue to get updates. So eventually the app will probably just break.
So it'll be a slow burn.
Yeah, it'll be a slow burn. It'll get unusable because they won't be able to continue to update it. And then it'll just kind of die.
She won't I guess I thought it would be like poof.
No, it won't like magically disappear on Monday. Your videos and everything are fine, but you may want to start looking into downloading them.
What am I going to do on Saturday mornings laying in bed by myself?
Exactly. Like, we need TikTok. I personally don't think it's going to go away.
Do you think someone's going to buy it? A number of people, folks have been
they're going to figure something out because it's just way too many. It's 170. It's half of America is on this app. So
Mr. Wonderful said maybe he'll do something.
Yeah, Mr. Beast kind of threw his hat in the ring. Yeah, there's definitely a few people that are like kind of vying for the company, and it's we'll see.
It's been a massive rise. So you go back to 2019, you can see it was just 3%. Now look at this. It's up to 32%. That's up nearly 30 points in just a 5-year span. Yes, Facebook is a little bit more. Yes, Facebook is number one, Instagram being number two. But it's really the rise of TikTok. It's really younger folks. Again, those under the age of 30 who use TikTok. There was a reason why Trump went and campaigned with those influencers. It's because to get younger voters, to get younger folks on social media. You don't go to Facebook, you go to TikTok, and the bottom line is TikTok has become a massive force in this country, and only one that has become considerably more popular as time has gone on.